Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing, and I know that seems strange to.
Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active, even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore, and the people may be fatigued, like we talked about prior to.
It's no secret that Diddy, who was previously praised as one of the most significant personalities in music and entertainment, is currently embroiled in one of the most shocking scandals in the history of celebrities. A federal indictment threatens to bring down his empire, and charges are mounting. The rap mogul appears to be surrounded by walls, but according to his former bodyguard, Jenny and Deal, Diddy may be leaving his jail cell sooner rather than later. In addition to rekindling public interest in Diddy's case, Deal's latest bombshell interview has sparked concerns about how the former head of Bad Boy Records is navigating the legal system.
A lot of money, and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
Deal, who had a tight working relationship with Diddy during his prime, was candid about his former boss's present situation. I recently learned about this myself, man, and I found it odd that he appears for a bail hearing every month. He shook his head at the ridiculousness of it all.
So you got to realize he got a lot of money. He still got a lot of money because he's paying these high-profile lawyers to take this case. So in having them to take this case, they're able to construct a lot of information together to making sure that when they go to the courts, they can say, yo, Your Honor, listen here, this is something that's changed, this is something that's new, this is something that's different.
Despite being behind bars, Diddy's wealth and influence continue to play a pivotal role in his ongoing legal battles. His high-powered legal team, reportedly costing him an astronomical sum each month, has been relentless in crafting arguments to convince the court that he deserves release. This kind of determined legal strategy is only feasible for someone with Diddy's financial resources. Currently, his defense team is focusing on a new angle: alleged violations of his rights while in custody. According to reports, officials conducted an impromptu search of Diddy's jail cell and confiscated legal documents, which his lawyers argue is a breach of his rights. They're saying he can't properly prepare his case if officials keep seizing his legal briefs and confidential information, Deal explained. Adding to their claims, the defense has suggested these searches may be targeted efforts to intimidate Diddy, raising questions about fairness in the treatment of their client.
Looked like he might get bail. Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time, or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches.
The prosecution, however, isn't backing down and has presented a starkly different narrative. They accuse Diddy of leveraging his wealth and status to manipulate the system and interfere with witnesses. Prosecutors claim he has been using other inmates' phone cards to make unauthorized calls, an outright violation of prison rules. Deal didn't hold back in mocking Diddy's alleged actions. He's probably the smartest, dumbest person I know, because he has to realize those calls are being recorded, he remarked with a chuckle. The prosecution is using these violations as evidence to argue against his release on bail. They claim Diddy's actions behind bars indicate he cannot be trusted to follow the rules, labeling him a potential flight risk or someone who might continue tampering with witnesses if granted freedom.
In this particular case, they said that when they did the impromptu search, well, they took some of his legal information, and the judge ordered them to give that back. So I guess the lawyers are going to come up with a couple of new things saying that he can't properly, have his case.
Additionally, Diddy's legal team has vehemently denied that the notes were meant to obstruct justice, but the prosecution has seized on this as additional evidence of his attempts to manipulate the case from behind bars. Diddy's so-called due list was allegedly discovered during one of the cell searches. According to reports, the notes contained instructions for a family member to gather damaging information on two of his accusers. This discovery has only strengthened the allegations of witness intimidation.
I believe none of that to be true. I believe that they went in there just like they do all the other inmates based on the information they had. You got to realize this, bro. They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now that probably happens all the time. You understand?
The stakes couldn't be higher for Diddy, who faces a potential life sentence if convicted. In a bid to secure his release, his legal team has proposed an alternative: house arrest in a luxury Manhattan apartment. This arrangement would include 24/7 monitoring by private security, which they'd argue would be even more restrictive than his current jail conditions. Under this proposal, Diddy's phone access would be severely limited, visitors restricted to family and legal counsel, and he would be required to check in regularly with federal agents. He couldn't go anywhere, Deal remarked, seemingly acknowledging the defense's logic. He added with a hint of humor, "I don't think there's a pilot out here who'd fly him unless they're paid under the table and working for some Colombian cartel."
A whole forestry of next week, because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was going to go down today. The judge said he going to revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll find out what's going on, but it's going to be something that I think it may shock the...
However, not everyone is persuaded. The judge has voiced doubts about whether such requirements would be sufficient to guarantee Diddy's compliance. Prosecutors were also eager to highlight the weaknesses in the defense's argument at the bottom, stating that there must be some degree of confidence that the defendant will abide by the conditions in order for them to be adequate. During the court, prosecutor Christy Slavic stated that the defendant just cannot be trusted.
Wow, so he might get out.
I think that he shouldn't be out if a third of the information that they got, if a third of the information they got is right.
Reports have surfaced claiming that Diddy has repeatedly broken prison rules, such as sending unsanctioned messages and making three-way calls using other MAT identification numbers. Deal acknowledged these reports, but said they were exaggerated. Diddy's own actions in jail have also come under scrutiny.
Shouldn't be out. But see, this is what people don't understand about the federal government. This is what the people don't understand about the Southern District of New York. When they come and get you, when they decide to lock you up, they already won their case.
The big question remains, will Diddy finally be granted bail? According to Deal, a decision could come as early as next week when the judge is expected to rule. However, even if Diddy is released, his legal battles are far from over. The allegations against him are among the most serious ever leveled against a celebrity of his stature, and the prosecution has made it clear they intend to pursue the case with full force. Deal, for his part, seemed doubtful about Diddy's chances of walking free. If even a third of the information they have is right, he shouldn't be out. He said bluntly, he's not alone in this view. Many legal experts have noted that the Southern District of New York, which is handling Diddy's case, boasts an exceptionally high conviction rate. When they come for you, they've already won their case, Deal said, echoing the sentiment of many who have faced federal charges. If you think anything different, you're wrong.
He is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government.
However, what about the wider ramifications of Diddy's case? For years, there have been rumors about the darker side of his empire, with claims of abuse and exploitation simmering beneath the surface. Now those rumors are in the spotlight, and the fallout is threatening to engulf not only Diddy, but also everyone connected to him, from his former collaborators to the A-list celebrities who attended his intimate parties. The entertainment industry is feeling the ripple effects of this scandal.
No, they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns, it may be the trafficking, it may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about, but he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
As the legal drama surrounding Diddy unfolds, one thing is certain: the battle for his freedom is far from over. His legal team is working tirelessly to secure his release, while the prosecution remains steadfast in its efforts to keep him behind bars. With new allegations and evidence emerging almost daily, the case grows increasingly complex. Will Diddy outmaneuver the system once more, or has his luck finally run out? Only time will tell. For now, all eyes are on the courtroom, where the fate of one of music's most controversial figures hangs in the balance. If you thought the first part of this saga was intense, brace yourself. Things are about to escalate. Behind the scenes, the stakes are higher than ever. While Diddy's lawyers focus on his release, the rumor mill has been churning, with whispers about the powerful figures in his inner circle gaining momentum. The spotlight is no longer just on Diddy, but also on the influential Hollywood and music industry elites tied to him. And let's face it, with allegations this explosive, collateral damage is inevitable. Some of the biggest names in the entertainment world are beginning to feel the heat, as the fallout from Diddy's legal nightmare shows no signs of slowing down.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotape.
Let's dive into the conspiracy theories swirling around Diddy's case, because they're too intriguing to ignore. There's growing speculation, especially online, that Diddy might be in more danger than most people realize. Danger from his own inner circle. Think about it. Diddy has decades worth of secrets involving not just himself, but a long list of celebrities, politicians, and high-powered business moguls linked to his infamous parties. If there's one thing powerful people fear, it's exposure. Some theories suggest that certain individuals close to Diddy might be more focused on silencing him than defending his innocence. After all, if Diddy were to start talking, the fallout could be catastrophic, not just for him, but for everyone connected to his so-called freak-offs. These events, which were once the stuff of tabloid gossip, have become a central element of his legal troubles. Described in court documents as elaborate and secretive gatherings, these parties allegedly served as playgrounds for the rich and famous, held in opulent mansions and luxury hotels. But as the nights progressed and the guest lists grew smaller, the atmosphere reportedly took a darker turn. Former attendees have alleged that these gatherings weren't just about fun. They were tightly controlled environments where certain activities were encouraged, orchestrated, and in some cases, even documented. Now, as more details emerge, the question isn't just about what happened at these parties, but who was there to witness it, and what they might be willing to do to keep it all buried.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
Here's the twist. These gatherings weren't just about indulgence. They were reportedly orchestrated to cultivate loyalty and maintain control. Sources close to the accusations claim that Diddy's events were as much about power as they were about pleasure. Guests weren't simply there to party. They were allegedly being monitored, with every interaction carefully recorded. Some insiders suggest Diddy used these recordings as leverage, ensuring that anyone who dared to cross him or step out of line faced serious consequences. He was always 5 steps ahead, a former associate reportedly said. If you thought you were playing him, you'd find out too late that he'd already set you up. This has fueled speculation that the powerful figures who attended Diddy's infamous gatherings aren't just worried about their reputations, they're terrified. If those recordings end up in the hands of authorities, the fallout could be catastrophic for everyone involved.
You know, it's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share.
Adding to the intrigue are whispers of a secret list, a purported record of high-profile attendees at Diddy's infamous events. While no such list has been confirmed by law enforcement, rumors of its existence have taken on a life of their own. Social media has been ablaze with speculation, with users dissecting old photos, videos, and interviews for any clues about who might have been in the room during some of the most controversial moments. The idea of this list has only intensified the stakes, fueling fears that Diddy's downfall could spark a domino effect, pulling others in his orbit into the fray. For now, the alleged list remains a mystery, but its mere possibility has many watching the case with bated breath. Then there's the question of why so many stayed silent for so long. Some speculate that Diddy's influence in the entertainment industry was so vast that speaking out against him was seen as career suicide. He wasn't just a mogul, he was a gatekeeper, one industry insider claimed. If you wanted to make it in music, fashion, or media, you had to stay on his good side. Others believe fear played an even bigger role, with whispers of threats and intimidation tactics reportedly used to keep potential whistleblowers in line. For years, the combination of power, fear, and influence made Diddy seemingly untouchable. But now, with the floodgates open and alleged victims stepping forward, the narrative is shifting. The question is no longer just about Diddy's fate. It's about how far-reaching the fallout will be and who else might be caught in the crossfire.
Is everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not Diddy is able to make bond.
A growing list of celebrities, music legends, and business tycoons has been linked to Diddy's infamous gatherings. Names like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Jennifer Lopez, Ashton Kutcher, and Leonardo DiCaprio have repeatedly surfaced in media discussions. While none of these individuals are accused of wrongdoing, their mere association with Diddy has raised eyebrows. In today's cancel culture, even the faintest connection to a scandal of this magnitude can damage a reputation. Attorney Tony Buzbee, representing over 100 alleged victims, has made his stance clear: silence won't protect anyone. He has reportedly sent demand letters to several high-profile figures, urging them to settle out of court or face lawsuits. Adding to the tension, Buzbee stated that even those who didn't actively participate in any misconduct could still be held accountable for witnessing and failing to stop inappropriate behavior. If you were there, he said, and you knew someone was being mistreated but did nothing, you're just as liable. These statements have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Reports suggest that some celebrities are scrambling to clean up their digital footprints, deleting photos and posts that could link them to Diddy's parties. Others have taken a more proactive approach, publicly distancing themselves. Notable figures like Ice Cube and Damon Dash have denied any involvement. "I ain't never been to a Diddy party," Cube declared during a recent concert, making it clear he wanted no part in the chaos. Damon Dash admitted he once attended one of Diddy's Hamptons parties, but insisted nothing inappropriate occurred while he was there. "Nothing went down," he said, dismissing the rumors. However, not everyone has been so forthcoming. Some of the biggest names associated with Diddy have remained silent, fueling speculation about what they might be hiding. As the scandal unfolds, the pressure is mounting and Hollywood is bracing for further fallout.
And then if he does, this new, quote, robust bail package, you can avoid and evade. And he is very connected with people that can help him avoid and evade. I'm not saying he will, but I would be surprised if the court grants him a bond. When the federal government wants you detained, you are normally detained, and here it was a very far-reaching situation that he was involved.
Then there's the fear factor. Despite his flaws, Diddy is no fool. He understands the stakes and reportedly believes that his life could be in danger if he starts naming names. Sources close to the case have suggested that Diddy is under immense pressure, not only from prosecutors but also from those who want to ensure he doesn't reveal what he knows. If Diddy were to cooperate with authorities and provide information about others involved, it could trigger a domino effect, toppling careers and reputations throughout the entertainment industry. This has led to speculation that Diddy might be attempting to strike a plea bargain with prosecutors, potentially reducing his sentence in exchange for information. However, there has been no confirmation that such a deal is on the table, and Diddy's legal team has denied any intention to cooperate.
Meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean.
Meanwhile, behind bars, Diddy's behavior has only intensified suspicions. Reports of him using other inmates' phone cards to make unauthorized calls have fueled rumors about his intentions. Some believe these calls could be an attempt to contact allies or even potential whistleblowers, urging them to stay loyal. Others suspect he may be trying to secure protection, fearing retaliation from those who stand to lose the most if he cooperates with authorities. Adding to the drama are the infamous notes seized from his jail cell. While Diddy's lawyers argue that these notes were taken illegally, prosecutors claim they contain evidence of attempts to gather dirt on his accusers. If true, this could point to a larger effort by Diddy to control the narrative, even from behind bars. But the shocking revelations don't stop there. The scale of the allegations against Diddy is staggering. From accusations of witness intimidation to claims of orchestrating elaborate cover-ups, the charges paint a picture of someone willing to go to extreme lengths to protect his empire. As more alleged victims come forward, the list of accusations continues to grow. Some describe being flown to exclusive parties under false pretenses, only to find themselves in situations they couldn't escape. Others have alleged they were coerced into signing non-disclosure agreements, silencing them for years. These stories have only reinforced the perception that Diddy's world was one of manipulation, control, and secrecy.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
But let's not overlook the impact this case is having on the entertainment industry as a whole. For years, Diddy was viewed as a gatekeeper who could make or break careers with a single phone call. His influence went far beyond music, touching fashion, television, and even politics. Now that his empire is on the verge of collapsing, those who once profited from their association with him are facing scrutiny, and the timing couldn't be worse in a time when public figures are being held accountable more than ever before. The fallout from Diddy's case could establish a new standard for how the entertainment industry responds to accusations of wrongdoing.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment. Now, I'm not saying that's necessary.
So where does this leave us? On one hand, Diddy's legal team is fighting relentlessly to secure his release and clear his name. On the other, the prosecution is building a case that could expose decades of wrongdoing, not just by Diddy, but by an entire network of enablers. As the trial date draws near, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Diddy take the stand to defend himself? Will more celebrities be dragged into the spotlight? And perhaps most importantly, will justice be served? Or will this case become yet another example of power and money overshadowing accountability? One thing is for certain, this story is far from over. The courtroom battles, behind-the-scenes negotiations, and media frenzy are all building toward a climax that could change celebrity culture forever. As more details emerge, the world will be watching closely to see how it all unfolds. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's that the truth always has a way of coming out, no matter how deeply it's buried.
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
Do you believe that Diddy's riches and power will eventually enable him to obtain bail, or will the seriousness of the accusations against him keep him incarcerated? What about the claims that his associates are turning against him? Are these conspiracy theories true? Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity news and updates. Please leave your opinions in the comments section below, and let's continue the conversation. I'll see you in the upcoming video.